So this is just my story, but I think some other guys can probably relate to it, and maybe some other wives too. When my wife and I, Jess, we were dating, she asked me, is there anything that you will expect of me when we get married that you haven't talked about yet? And so I was a little nervous, and I said, well, let me think about it, but you go first. And she said she wanted me to make sure I never took her for granted, no matter how many times she got pregnant, that I'd never treat any pregnancy as just a run-of-the-mill experience. And I thought that was a good point. So then it was my turn, and I said, well, if we get married, I would hope that even though I'm not necessarily a very naturally gifted leader, if we had a disagreement about what was best for the family, and it didn't concern faith and morals, and we really just couldn't see eye to eye on it, that you would defer to me as head of the family. I know I'm not necessarily, like I said, a great leader, but just based on what St. Paul says, based on what virtually all the saints say, based on what Pius XI says in Casti Connubii, and just based on the fact that a democracy of two doesn't work, I would ask that you would trust that by deferring to me, God would make it best for our family in the end. And she said yes, but she told me later she was kind of mad about it. She'd considered herself a feminist in high school, and she wasn't real happy about this prospect. But here's what's really weird to me. I have never invoked my right as head of the household in my family. Never once. Never once have I said, no, you have to respect me as head, we're making this decision, and you must submit. I've never said anything like that, but what's weird is Jess, my wife, is constantly appealing to my headship. Every time I try to disengage, every time I try to eschew responsibility, I say, you deal with it, I don't know, you deal with it, you handle it, you make the decision. She comes back and says, no, you're the head of the house, you have to make the decision. And it's remarkable. I think maybe this is why God gave us the gift of male headship of the family, is because he knew that so many of us men are cowards and we want to forsake responsibility. We want to leave all the tough stuff up to our wives. And this has been, for my marriage, one of the great ways of making sure that I'm always present, I'm always there, and I'm always willing to take responsibility.